Well, folks, I'm about to make your weekend because I've got a fresh set of Mavic 4 Pro leaks, and they're coming from Osita LV, who has a very solid track record, and some actually believe that he's actually getting his information directly from a DJI dealer in China. Will we get the Mavic 4 Pro Cine version? What are the focal lengths of these three lenses? And what are the new video codecs supported? Well, I'll answer these questions and more in this video. But first, I have a simple and humble request. Please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps this channel grow, and most importantly, it keeps you informed on the latest camera gear. The Mavic 4 Pro allegedly has three lenses according to Osita LV. A 24mm, a 50mm, and a 166mm telephoto. The 24mm has a dual native ISO with a 4/3 sensor, while the 50mm and the 166mm are 1:1.5. In case you're wondering about the size differences between a micro 4/3 and a 1:1.5, this image should help clarify that for you. A micro 4/3 sensor is definitely larger, and what Osita LV tells us is that the 50mm and the 166mm, they're actually bigger than what we saw in the Mavic 3 Pro. And with all the leaked images of the Mavic 4 Pro, it's really no surprise that the gimbal's been redesigned. However, instead of the tilt range being 90 down and 80 up, Osita LV tells us it's going to be 90 degrees up or down. So that's a slight improvement over previous leaks. And what we're noticing already is that the leak specifications that Osita LV is providing us with pretty much are bang on with what we've seen in previous posts. Although what Osita LV is providing us with is a little bit more, how shall we say, a deeper level of detail where we're able to see the types of lenses. We're getting video codecs. We're getting a little bit more detail. So if what Jasper's telling us, he kind of senses that this Osita LV is getting their information directly from a DJI dealer in China. The one thing I like about the RS4 is as soon as you turn it on, it automatically unlocks, unfolds. And that's a pretty nice capability. It's great for rapid deployment. And I'm happy to tell you that the DJI Mavic 4 Pro, yes, I know there's no camera attached and it's off balance. Let me just put it back to sleep, and it folds back in place. I'm happy to report that the DJI Mavic 4 Pro and the Cine version have the same capability, that it will automatically unfold for rapid deployment. Now, in terms of internal memory, the DJI Mavic 4 Pro has 512 gigabytes on board. But if you buy the Cine version, and yes, if you haven't already picked up on it already, we've got validation that there's going to be two versions, the DJI Mavic 4 Pro and the Cine version. Now, when it comes to internal memory for the Cine version, get ready for this because it's a huge jump up from what we see in the regular one. It's 4 terabytes. That's 8 times the amount of memory. Now, let's talk a little bit about flight time. If you're going to be hovering, you're going to get 48 minutes. But if you're actually moving around, you're flying, then the reported flight time is supposed to be 50 minutes. And to help with this, DJI has redesigned the propellers to reduce noise. But they've also redesigned the remote control. As previous leaks had said, we are getting an RC2, a redesigned remote control. It's going to get a 4+, so the new video transmission, and it's also going to get a 100 megapixel resolution. Yeah, apparently DJI calls it multi-frame composition. Yeah, that's an awful lot of resolution to pull out of a micro 4/3 sensor. What I suspect that DJI is going to do in the Mavic 4 Pro is to use some sort of pixel shift technology, like that found in the Sony A7R5. I just wonder if it's limited to hovering mode, or if it takes into account moving objects. Look, I don't know about this one. 100 megapixels from a micro 4/3 sensor, even using some sort of pixel shift technology, is in most cases a gimmick. The Canon EOS R5, the Mark I, a camera that I'm shooting with right now, has a pixel shift technology in it, although Canon calls it something else. Oddly enough, it didn't make it to the Mark II. Now, it is good for food and product photography, but outside of that, it's not very good. Now, the Sony A7R5 is able to take into account moving subjects, and that does a really great job. But still, to be able to deliver a pixel shift as the Sony A7R5 does, you're usually looking at taking something like 9 images and stitching them together. And if it takes a long time to do this, what do you end up with? Well, artifacts, because not only is the the platform, the gimbal on the drone moving, but you also have the subject and the object moving. And maybe you're shooting a landscape. Well, what about the trees? They're usually moving slightly, and the same with grass. Or maybe you have birds and other things. So it's a very tough thing to do. So DJI might have done something really wonderful here. Maybe they've taken what Sony's done and built upon it better. But at this point, until I see the DJI Mavic 4 Pro or the Cine version, I'm just going to chalk this one up to being, well, a gimmick. However, I've kind of saved one of the best to last. Now, both these two video codecs are limited to the DJI Mavic 4 Pro, the Cine version, the one that gets 4 terabytes internal storage versus 512 gigs on the Mavic 4 Pro. The new video codecs, Apple ProRes 422 HQ. Yes, that's right, HQ. I had trouble remembering whether it was HQ or XQ. Apple ProRes 422 is what I shoot with pretty well all the time. Apple ProRes 422 HQ. I think it's great. The file sizes aren't that much bigger than All-I, but there's another codec that the Cine version gets that is going to have some of you dropping your mouths. It's Apple ProRes, but it's 4444 XQ. XQ, 4444. In terms of the amount of information, that is huge. Those file sizes are absolutely just humongous. However, I can imagine in certain scenarios you want to preserve as much information as you can. And that's probably why the Mavic 4 Pro or the Mavic 4 Cine version or the Pro Cine version is going to have 4 terabytes versus 512 because, while you might not think that 512 is a lot of memory and that 4 terabytes is, if you're going to be shooting with 4444 XQ, you're going to find that 4 terabytes isn't an awful lot of storage either. What I liked about these leaked specifications is how they seem to dovetail in with previous leaked specifications, like these ones here that we got a couple of weeks ago. They looked pretty solid, but when it talked about the lenses and the cameras, we didn't have a lot to go on. We had a lot of images that indicated it was getting 3 cameras. Now some, like this image here, indicated a potential for more lenses, but you see what we were seeing there was actually the Matrix 4. I said it again, the Matrix 4. I'm going to call it the Matrix 4, whatever. That has since been announced, so all eyes are now on the Flip as well as the DJI Mavic 4 Pro. So we have 2 versions, like we saw with the Mavic 3 Pro. We have the Mavic 4 Pro, and we have the Cine version. And from what I'm hearing at this point, oh, this is going to hurt the pocketbook. I'm really interested in the Cine version. This is looking pretty impressive. And so far, I haven't seen any deals on what the specifications or the previous leaks had told us is we're looking at an April announcement. Could it happen in March? Well, I don't think it's going to happen in March, and I'll give you a good reason why. In North America, we have something called spring break, reading break, or March break. Essentially, different schools, colleges, and institutions from the beginning of March to the end of March, well, they have a week off. So parents are preoccupied, people are traveling. And then as we get to the end of March, we have Easter. Now, I don't know if it falls in March this year or if it falls in April. Sometimes it overlaps. So the whole point of an announcement in March, well, if they could do it, but it's going to be largely overlooked. So then we have this month. And it's possible, but all signs are saying it's going to happen later. I think because we're getting a lot of leaks and they're coming fast and furious, and usually what that indicates is the announcement isn't too far away. So my best guess for an announcement would be February. We don't have a lot going on in February. I know there's the Chinese New Year. I think that happens late January this year. I could be wrong. It's the year of the snake. There's a couple of holidays, but they're a one day. And usually when we have announcements, they're not on a Monday, they're not on a Friday, they're on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Although, Nikon, didn't you go ahead and pull a Monday announcement a little while ago? Don't do that. Don't do that. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's what we're looking forward to. So what do you think of these leaked specifications of the DJI Mavic 4 Pro? Losing my voice, guys. I hope I'm not coming down with anything. I didn't tap the mic. Just checking that I'm recording audio. I had a terrible start to this video. Forgot to record the audio. Then I forgot to turn the recorder on. I'm going to go ahead and end the video soon. But first of all, I want to say a special thanks to many of you for using my affiliate links. Right now, there's about 20 cameras on sale. So if you're looking at getting cameras or lenses, I got about 20 links down below to Adorama, B&H, and Amazon.com. And a big thanks to those of you that have used the links in the past. I get anywhere from 2 to 5% back, and literally it helps keep the lights on, the key light, the fill light, and everything, guys. Thank you, because after doing this for about 6 years now, I don't think I could do it without your support. This channel continues to grow at a slow and steady pace of about 10 to 12,000 subscribers a year. On a monthly basis, we get anywhere from 150 to 500,000 views. So the channel does punch well above its weight, and it's largely to do with your support. So thank you. I couldn't do it without you. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end things now, because I'm trying to research some information on the Canon EOS R6 Mark III. Not enough to put out a video right now, but things are happening. Anyways, have yourself a great rest of your weekend. I cannot speak. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon.